经文世界的魅力和深度。
So today I want to lead you go deeply with these verses.
今天我们单单先是在3个角度来看诗篇23篇。
And today we want to talk about this Psalm 23 using 3 different angles.
首先呢，我们从地理的角度来看诗篇23篇。
So first one is the geographical view.
第二呢，是从神学的角度来看诗篇23篇。
And the second is the theological view.
第三呢，就是从圣经的角度来看诗篇23篇。
The third one is from the canonical view.
那我们看到，首先从地理的角度来分析诗篇23篇。
So let's talk about the first point first.
大家要注意呢，诗篇23篇是以诗歌的形式写的。
And you may notice Psalm 23 in the form of the poem.
那呢，可以使一个诗美，就是它的地理环境、它的处境、它的情况。
So it makes the scenery very beautiful.
就是在这个诗场景是很重要的元素。
And the scene is a very important element.
Important 诗是
The
就是诗我相信呢，大家就是在读这段经文，大家常常忽略了这个地理。
But when you read these verses, I guess you always neglect one part in the geographical view.
或者呢，当大家读的时候，大家有看到一些处境，但是大家有一个错误的焦点。
And secondly, when you read, you may imagine a scenery in your mind. However, I think it is a misunderstanding.
如果大家读诗篇23篇，大家很快就看到，哇，青草地上可安息的水边，大家就想象。
And when you read Psalm 23, it's a beautiful scenery in your mind. It's green pastures and still water.
哇，大家内心就很喜悦了。
And there must be joy in your heart.
然后就给大家一个错觉，作为基督徒挺不错的呀，好像一切都是那么美好，青草地上可安息的水边，我要成为基督徒了。
And it gives you the illusion everything is so beautiful and peaceful. So I want to be a Christian.
各位弟兄姐妹，有所谓大象绳子的效应。大象绳子的效应。
So there's a story about the elephant pole effect.
大家知道大象呢，小的时候用一个很薄的绳子绑的时候。
So when the elephant is very young, people use a very thin rope to fasten one of its legs.
然后当它长大了之后
So when it grows up,
它是有同样的绳子。
and the same rope.
其实呢，说一个很大的大象，它很容易可以把这个绳子弄断。
And for an adult elephant, it's so easy for it to just escape from this rope.
但是大了，为什么还是同样那么薄的绳子，它还是这样一直困着它，它也没有动。
But how come the little thin rope can control an adult elephant?
很简单，因为在这个大象的想法里面，这个绳子跟它以前小的是一样，能困住它。
So it's simple because in elephant's mind, the rope is the same, has the same effect when it was young.
我动也没有用，因为呢，就是我无法脱离这个绳子的捆绑。
Because when it was young, it tried a lot of time to escape from the rope, but it failed.
同样，我们成为基督徒，我们可能有印象，认为成为基督徒就是总是那么美好的，我们走不下去。
So for a lot of people, there's a very assertive view regarding being a Christian, always very smooth life, successful life.
各位，我们可能想象诗篇23篇是大卫是在一个好像李白一样，在宴会赢了300杯写的诗篇23篇。
And the people think Psalms 23 was from when David was in the banquet and he was drinking 300 glasses of wine.
或者呢，他就是在牛上吹笛，然后弹琴，然后一边写诗篇23篇。
Or he was just riding on the back of the ox and playing his flute.
他或者在蓝天树下下棋，写的诗篇23篇。
Or playing the chess with someone under the blue sky, then he wrote Psalm 23.
各位弟兄姐妹，圣经的学者多数都同意，诗篇23篇写的是在大卫不容易的时刻。
However, most of the commentators they believe Psalm 23 was written during the most difficult time of day.
各位弟兄姐妹，我们回到地里，刚才青草地上有安息的水边。
So let's come back to the scene, the green pastures and still water.
那这个诗给我们感觉好像牧羊，在一个很完美的地方里面放羊。
It gives us the feeling the shepherd is raising his sheep in a very peaceful area.
但是如果我们进行一个研究，我们知道在犹大的地区里面情况是这样的，是他们在犹大的旷野里面放羊。
But if you study further, you will know that they actually are shepherding in the Judean wilderness, which is a very bleak piece of land.
如果大家知道旧约里面有记载，大卫从小也是放羊，在伯利恒。
And David, from the childhood, he was a shepherd in Bethlehem.
那如果他作为一个牧羊人，他实在很明白，当时要放羊是不容易的。
And as a shepherd, then they understood at that time to look after all these sheep was a very difficult task.
如果我们假设这个大卫经过的路是跟他写诗篇23篇有关系的话，那就是完全诗所展示的跟他的经历是完全不一样。
So if you believe the scene in Psalm 23 was one of David's personal experience, then it's totally different from what in reality.
因为当时在犹大地区呢，遗迹也是比较少，然后呢要找一个充足的地方让羊群可以吃是不容易。
That time in Judah, it was very hard to find a place for the sheep to eat and drink.
然后我们从犹大地区换在另一个地理位置。
If we change this place to another place.
如果我们看到经文，不单单是有青草地上，之后呢有死荫的幽谷。
In the Bible, there's not only the green pastures, but they also mention about the valley of the shade of death.
那我们从这个犹大地区走一段时间，就有一个地方叫做拿哈米什玛，就是死荫的幽谷。
And not far away from Judah, there's really a place which is called the valley of shade of death.
那这个地方呢，不单是很危险，同时呢，羊可以容易在这里迷失。
And this area is very dangerous, but also sheep can easily get lost.
所以为什么叫做死荫的幽谷？
So that's why it is called the valley of the death of the shade of death.
然后呢，之后我们看到另一个这么一句话，在我敌人面前。
And we also read in the presence of my enemies.
那我们不知道在敌人面前在哪一个地方，我们真不知道。
We We're not sure where this place is.
有很多学者假设，这个在敌人面前，他们讲这个敌人到底是谁？
And a lot of people were guessing who were these enemies.
但是我们承认，我们真不知道，
But we don't know
因为圣经没有告诉我们。
because the Bible doesn't tell us.
但是呢，经文告诉我们，大卫呢正在一个处境，他是面对很多挑战的问题。
However, the Bible tells us David was in such a situation, he facing a lot of challenges.
各位弟兄姐妹，大卫是谁？
Who David is.
如果大家知道，大卫就是符合上帝心意的人。
And he is the one who pleases God.
但是符合上帝心意的人，竟然也面对了很多问题。
So how come a person who pleasing God also facing a lot of challenges?
如果我们回到旧约看看大卫的生平，
So if we come back to the Old Testament and study the life story of David,
大卫一方面呢在属灵层面挺成功的，
on one hand, he was very successful in his spiritual life.
但是他作为罪人，他也是面对的问题跟你我一样。
However, being a sinner, he also faced the same problems you and I have.
他无法教导孩子，孩子们都是很叛逆。
He unsuccessfully educated his kids, and all his kids are very rebellious.
他跟孩子们关系一直都是不很融洽，
And he didn't have a good relationship with his kids.
甚至孩子赶他出去。
Even the kids drove him away.
他也经历过，他失去了他所爱的人，
And he also lost a beloved one.
让他很痛苦不堪，让他痛苦不堪。
So he suffered a lot.
他曾经也是因为肉体的罪而跌倒，
And he also fell in sins of the adultery.
他曾经也受了人的歧视，因为你太小了，你太年轻了。
And he was looked down upon by other people.
他也曾经流浪，没有一个固定的地方。
And he was wandering without a place to live.
那也经历了周围人的叛逆、背叛和误解。
And after the other people's betrayal and also misunderstanding,
晚年他也生了大病。
and also he was very sick during his late life.
那我就想，符合上帝心意的人，生活为什么那么惨？
So that reminds me how come a person pleasing God experienced so much.
各位弟兄姐妹，如果我们回到诗篇23篇，
If we come back to Psalm 23,
我们不单专注在这个美丽的环境里面，
we not only focus on this beautiful scene,
但是我们要想起更深一步，为什么已经经历了这么多问题，仍然还可以想到这么美的处境？
we need to further explore how come David experienced so many challenges. He can still imagine such a beautiful scene.
因为大卫把他的生命交托完全给上帝，来上帝带领他。
Because he fully submitted his life to God.
虽然现在是干旱之地，
Even though now it is a drought place,
但是他相信上帝可以带领他到青草地上。
however, he believed God could lead him to the green pastures
同时使他安息。
and made him rest in the beside the still water.
各位弟兄姐妹，羊跟狗跟骆驼是不一样的。
So sheep are different from camel and dogs.
如果狗和骆驼，你叫它坐下睡觉，你可以训练。
You can train the camels and the dogs, ask them to sit down or to sleep.
如果你跟羊说你坐下，它就它不会听你的。
However, if you want to train the sheep to to sit down, they won't listen to you.
睡觉，
And you ask them to sleep,
他们也不要。
they won't listen to you.
那他们怎么睡觉呢？
How do they sleep?
当他们吃了很多草，
After they eating a lot of grass
自己感觉饱了，
and feel satisfied,
所以他睡觉。
then they go to sleep.
关键几节经文告诉我们，上帝要使我们满足。
So the Bible tells us God want us to be satisfied.
让我们真的经历了他的满足，然后我们自然可以休息一下。
So after we experience the satisfaction from God, we can rest.
那上帝怎么带领我们到这样的地方呢？
So how God leads us to this kind of place,
我们不知道，
we don't know.
全部回到他的主权，回到他的主权。
So we need to come back to the authority.
但是无论怎么样，我相信上帝可以做到。
But I still believe God can do it.
真的，当我们面对很多问题和挑战的时候，我们不知道怎么走的时候，相信上帝会带领使你满足。
So when we facing a lot of challenge and don't know what to do, and don't worry because God will instruct you.
各位弟兄姐妹，大家看到死荫的幽谷，
So look at the valley of shadow of death.
然后呢，经文告诉我们，走上死荫的幽谷，你的杖、你的竿都安慰我。
And the Bible tells us even though you walk in the valley of the shadow of the death, however, your rod and your staff will comfort you.
有两个东西，一个杖，一个竿。
So there are two things. One is the rod, the other is the staff.
为什么经文要强调两个？
Why the Bible emphasizes two things?
大家有没有想过？
So have you ever thought about it?
首先呢，就是一个小的，就是可以用来武器来保护这个羊群。
So the first one is the small one. It's sort of the weapon. You can protect yourself and the sheep.
因为在死荫的幽谷，很多就是可能狼或者狮子可以吃这个羊。
Because in the valley of the shadow of the death, there a lot of lion and tigers which can devour the sheep.
另一个呢，就是比较长的，比较长的。
The other one is the longer one.
所以当这个羊迷失的时候，
When the sheep are lost,
这个牧羊人就拿起他的长棍，
so the shepherd will hold on the long staff.
特别呢，就是在过山的时候，
Especially when they go over the ridge,
这个羊根据他的牧羊人，
and the sheep will follow the shepherd.
然后这个牧羊人一下去，哎，这个羊看不到我的牧羊人在哪里呢？
However, when the shepherd goes downwards the ridge, the sheep will lose the sight of the shepherd.
他就拿杖，哎，拿起来，这个牧羊人知道，哦，他在那边，我就跟随他。
Then he can hold the longer one so the sheep can see.
各位弟兄姐妹，这个上帝在我们生命里面所提供的保护和指引。
So that's actually the protection and guidance from God.
当你不知道怎么样对待家人，当你觉得生命没有稳定的时候，你没有一个安全的保障，记得上帝的竿和杖会引领保护你。
When you're facing an uncertain situation or feel insecure, so always remember God's protection and guidance are with you.
所以我们要有信心。
So we need to be confident.
最后我们看到，在敌人面前，神给他宴席；在敌人面前，神摆设宴席。
And finally, we see in the Bible, God provided him the banquet in the presence of the enemies.
这个就是在打仗的处境。
And it was in the situation of the battlefield.
大家还没有战，他已经进驻了。
So before they fight, he already celebrated.
看起来大卫已经知道结局了。
It looks like he already knew about
虽然我们前面看到是黑暗的，前面是黑暗的，
Even though in front of us there's darkness,
但是我知道在上帝里面我们可以胜过一切。
however we know in God we can overcome everything.
上帝没有保证我们跟随他是没有风风雨雨，但是他保证风雨过会有彩虹。
God didn't promise us our life will be all smooth. However, He guaranteed us we can see the good result.
他没有答应我们没有经过沙漠，我们可能经过沙漠，但是在沙漠里有银柱，有火柱，以玛纳随着我们。
And God didn't promise us we won't go through the wilderness. However, in the wilderness, He provided us the pillar of the cloud, and pillar of the fire, and also manna.
上帝也从来没有保证我们一切都是顺利，但是他答应我们，他无论在什么情况，他与我们同在。
And God didn't promise us we will always have success in our life. However, He promised us He would be always with us.
各位弟兄姐妹，一个专业的摄影师在死林的幽谷拍的一个牧羊人在放羊的这样的一个图片，实在很美。
And this photo is from a professional photographer taken in the valley of the shadow of death.
这个是很美的，就是在几乎好像没有清楚，在很危险、很低谷的时候，竟然有牧羊人还是站着来保护我们的羊群。这个是上帝真正经过我们的生命大概的这样的一个描写。
So even though in a very bleak wilderness and no grass and water, but there's still shepherd to protect his sheep. So that means God will do the same thing to us.
各位弟兄姐妹，诗篇23的重点不是在我们在什么地方，而是谁在跟我们在这个地方。
So the importance of Psalm 23 is not where we are. It is the important. The importance is who is with us.
我们常常放重点在环境地方。
So we always focus on the place and environment.
我不喜欢这个地方，还是澳洲好，澳洲安全平安。
And I don't like this place. And Australia is better. It's so peaceful and secure.
你看没有事情，
Cities, nothing happens.
人家打我撞我，还要跟他说 no worries no worries。
If someone hit me, bumped into my car, I will tell them no worries.
什么时候 no worries no worries no worries。
So everything is no worry.
不单单 no worries， 包括讲 no drama no drama。
And they also say no drama.
但是澳洲就是很多人忧虑、最有 drama 的地方。
However, Australia has the highest rate of people who have depression.
我看到，就是我们情况呢，越来越多人呢，经历了一个精神的压迫。
So nowadays, more and more people have the mental problem.
我们真的没事吗？
Are we really okay?
各位弟兄姐妹，如果在一个研讨会，我问大家有问题吗？
If we are in a seminar and ask you, are you okay?
有问题吗？大家说没有问题。
And most of people say, nah.
那我就说没有问题就是问题。
And I say, if you don't have a problem, that means a problem.
那你觉得没有问题，那实在是问题，就是你的 no worries 有问题了。
If you always know worry is a worry.
各位弟兄姐妹，哪一个地方是安全最理想是没有的？
So in this world, which place is the perfect place?
没有。
There's none.
但是让我们使到完美，因为有完美的上帝在不完美的地方与我们同行。
However, there is a perfect God in a perfect place
重点是谁跟我走过每个环境。
So in the Psalms, there's a lot of different places, but this is not the important point. The important point is who is with us.
各位弟兄姐妹，在犹大地区，竟然这个干旱不是永远的，而是它有季节的。
And in this region, the drought is not a long-term thing; it's a seasonal thing.
有时候好像我们的生命一样，有时候会上上下下。
It's just like our life; we have the high and the low.
但是我想问大家，当干旱进入你的生命的时候，
I want to ask you, when you experience the drought in your life,
大家是否有信心？是不是依靠上帝，跟随他的引领？
do you still have the faith to depend on God and follow Him?
我们是否要回到上帝的带领，感到安慰和可以休息？
So, are you willing to come back to God to experience the peace and also take a rest?
干旱虽然有季节，但是跟随上帝是没有季节，任何季节要跟随上帝。
The drought is seasonal. However, following God it is not seasonal. It's a life thing.
曾经有一位牧师问他的会友
This pastor ever asked his members,
谁要委身，天天寻求上面的旨意，成为基督的精兵？
who want to commit yourself to be a God's soldier to follow God all your life?
全部举手。
So hands up.
牧师就问了那个其中一个举手的。
Then he asked one of the one who raised his hand up.
怎样？你要成为精兵？
James, you want to be the soldier of God?
这个是例子而已。
It's just an example.
为什么我只看到你一年只看你3次？
How come 1 year I only see you 3 times in the church?
过年。
That's the New Year.
复活节。
Easter.
还有圣诞节。
And Christmas.
偶尔有来了几次啦，就是在吃饭的时候了。
And occasionally you came, and it's only for the lunch gathering.
我先澄清一下，质量一直都来的。
So I want to make it clear, James always in the church every week.
这是另一个质量。
That's another James.
在干旱之地的质量。
That's the James in the war.
你为什么这样做呢？
So why you do this?
他怎么回答？
So how did he answer?
是我不能常常来。
Yes, I cannot come to the church all the time.
大家都是精兵，大家都是精兵。
So everyone is a soldier.
我是特殊部队。
And I'm the special force.
特殊部队呢，就是偶尔来。
So for the special force, they only appear when there's a special occasion.
可是我们太多理由了。
So we have too many excuses.
我们不要认为我们自己都是 special agent， 我们就是可以随时偶尔来找上帝。
So don't think about every one of us is a special force.
我们都是普通的精兵就可以了。
And we are just normal soldiers.
但是我们符合上帝的心意。
However, we are pleasing God.
各位弟兄，我们可能觉得，大卫为什么可以那么有信心呢？我们很好奇。
So you may ask, how come David had such a big confidence?
那我们从地理的角度，我们从移到这个神学的角度。
So let's move from the first point to the second point.
我们找出为什么大卫呢，在这个干旱之地，在面对敌人面前、面对问题，还可以相信上帝可以带领他到青草地上呢？
Why David still believed God could lead him to the pastures and the still water, even though he faced so many challenges?
答案就是在这里，耶和华是我的牧者。
And the answer is here because the Lord is my shepherd.
注意这句话，我的牧者。
And pay attention to my shepherd.
我们先问2个问题：第一，谁是大卫？第二，谁是 牧者。
I want to ask you two questions. First one, who David is. The second is, who the shepherd is.
如果大家研究圣经，大家不难发觉，圣经里面有两个最伟大的牧羊人。
And if you read the Bible, you will find the Bible talks about two great shepherds.
没有任何的人可以超越这两个人。第一是雅各，第二是这个大卫。
So there's no one else can pass these two great shepherds. The first one is Jacob, and the second one is David.
为什么雅各是最好的牧羊人？
Why Jacob was the best shepherd?
因为他要换这个羊的颜色，他可以做到。
Because he could even change the color of the sheep.
你要黑要白，我可以做给你。
And he can decide it's a black sheep or white sheep.
你要有点的，要稳的，我可以做给你。
And he can decide whether the sheep is a dotted one or a striped one.
大家已经读经运动就知道了这个雅各哦。
And if you read the Bible, you know the story.
没有一个科技现在科技可能会做到，但是以前雅各已经做了。
Nowadays, no technology can do this. However, Jacob did it.
他最好的牧羊人。
And he's the best shepherd.
但是如果大家看到在最后的出埃及，雅各讲了一句话。
And in the book of Exodus, Genesis, Jacob said one thing.
经历了这么长，他才是我的牧者。
And after all these things, he is my shepherd.
最伟大的牧者讲，今人还有比他更高的牧者，就是他。
So the greatest shepherd said, God is his shepherd.
然后大卫年轻，
And David was very young.
但是可以跟狮子打架。
And he could fight with the lions.
他没有好像武松一样这没有的，可以跟武松对比了，武松打不了。
He could even compete with Song.
但是这个大卫还是很小的，还是很小，年轻。
So the David was very young.
但是他可以打到两个，第一就是不单单的狮子，如果我们说只是打狮子，武松也可以，但是他打歌利亚，这个武松没有打过歌利亚。
So he not only defeated the lion and also defeated Goliath.
然后同时呢，他也是多才多艺的牧羊人。
And he was also a very versatile shepherd.
一般牧羊人就是牧羊人。
So normally shepherd is a shepherd.
他是他音乐家。
But he also a musician.
哇，这个了不起。
And he was very great.
他也是文学家。
And he was also a poet.
他同时也是政治家。
And he was also a politician.
他也是牧羊人成为王。
And from shepherd he became the king.
从各个方面，哇，这个牧羊人很谦卑啊。
So from all the sides you can find he's great.
应该我们讲，如果我们是大卫，我们可能讲，世上没有好像我这么好的牧羊人。
If we were David, we would say, I'm the best.
但是竟然我那个牧羊的人，把自己看为羊，而把这个牧者的位置给上帝耶和华上帝。
The best shepherd treat themselves as the sheep, and they recognize God as their shepherd.
耶和华是我的牧者。
And the Lord is my shepherd.
从这里我们可以学到两个重要的宝贵东西。
And from here we learn two precious things.
大家看到1节之后，就谈到上帝给我们什么。1节之后，经文告诉我，上帝给我们什么。
So from after verse 1, we find what God provides us.
但是还没有到上帝给我们什么。第1节是给个基础，是谁？你所信的上帝到底是谁呢？ 所以认识上帝是首先，之后再看重他的给我们的好处。
So before you get all these things, the first step is you need to know God.
首先认识上帝成为我们生命的第一基础，之后我们再谈到祝福、敬礼他等等。
So to know God is the foundation of our life. After that, you will experience the blessings from God.
很多人不想认识上帝，就跳到祝福。
So a lot of people, they don't even want to know God first, and they want to directly enter into the stage to get blessed.
上帝的神迹，上帝的神迹，上帝的祝福，上帝的带领。
So God's miracles, blessing, and guidance.
但是跟他讲，你要不要认识上帝？我不要了。
But when you ask him, do you want to know God? He said no.
所以我要他的祝福，但是我不想认识他。
I only want his blessing, but I don't want to know him.
认识上帝成为基础。
So to know God is the foundation.
第二呢，我们学习到是什么？我们越靠近上帝，越认识上帝，我们就会越降低，他越高。
So the second point is when we know God, and we will uphold him.
那宗教改革家曾经这样说：认识自己是认识上帝，认识上帝就是认识自己。
And the religious reformer John Calvin ever said, to know oneself is to know God. The knowledge of God leads to the knowledge of oneself.
这个是第一步，要踏上基督徒的道路。
And this is the first step we Christians should make.
你要认识你是谁，上帝是谁。
You need to know yourself, and you need to know who God is.
如果我们搞不清楚，就很危险。
If we cannot clarify this, it's dangerous.
关于这点，当我们认为呢，所有的荣耀都是我们的。
If you think all the glories belong to you,
我们高举我们自己，我们赞美我们自己，这个是我们已经错误的方向。
and you praise yourself and you uphold yourself, that means we already making a big mistake.
真正认识上帝成为牧者的人，明白我不是牧者，他才是牧者。
And the people who really know God realize only God is the shepherd, not ourselves.
跟着讲，包括当我们读这段经文，这个不是关于我们，这段经文不是关于我们。
When we read this Bible, it's not for us.
各位不要头大，觉得哇，那个经文好像对我给我很多好处。
And don't think after you read the verses and then you will get a lot of blessings.
经文不是专注在我们，这段经文全部要高举他荣耀上帝。
The verses is not to focus on the blessings. It is actually focused on God to glorify His name.
各位同学，我曾经有一个机会在分享有关神论、有关上帝的讨论。
So I had a chance to share with other people about God.
如果问我你要从哪里谈到上帝，我会拿诗篇23篇。
So if people ask me if you want to talk about God, where is the starting point? I will use Psalms 23.
因为在诗篇23篇是讲到上帝很完备的。
Because this talks about God.
如果大家很明白旧约，
if you understand Old Testament,
大家不难发觉，就是在诗篇23篇，大家处处都可以看到上帝。
and in Psalm 23, you can see God's presence everywhere.
那我们看到耶和华是我们的牧者，
And we see the Lord is my shepherd.
这个就是Jehovah-Ra-ah。
I think God is my shepherd.
然后说耶和华呢是我们的牧者，他引我到可安息的水边，他使我躺卧在青草地上。每一句经文都是讲到他。
And He makes me to lie down in green pastures. He leads me beside the still water. So everything talks about God.
他是耶和华的伟大的牧者，他是耶和华基内是提供者，他是耶和华小龙是平安的君王，他是耶和华罗菲是上帝是我的医治者，他是耶和华的 Skino 是公义的神，他是耶和华沙玛是同在的上帝，他是耶和华 S 上帝是我的拯救者，他是耶和华尼西我们胜利的标准。他是耶和华 Incarnate 神是圣洁的，他是耶和华玛纳上帝是我的福分，他是耶和华起来神是我永远的产业。
So lucky I have the verses here. Otherwise I can't remember it. The Lord my shepherd, the Lord my provider, the Lord my peace, the Lord my healer, the Lord of righteousness, the Lord is present. The Lord my help. The Lord is my standard of victory. The Lord my holiness, my satisfaction. The Lord my portion. The Lord my inheritance.
各位弟兄姐妹，从这段经文我们可以看到谁是上帝。
So from these we can see everything about God.
全部关于他，
And everything about God,
不是我们。
not us.
所以，上帝给你的事跟他是谁是挂钩的。What he give and who is him is cannot separate，不能分开。
So you cannot separate what He gives and who He is.
所以我们的application 是什么？我们的实际应用是什么？
So what will be our practical application?
很简单，
It's simple.
在你谈到很多事情的时候，
When you think about a lot of things,
记得有上帝在背后。
remember God is always with you.
我们常常谈到政治，谈到健康，谈到生意，但是没有谈到上帝。
We always talk about the politics, the health, the business. However, we don't talk about God.
但是你们要在谈到这些东西前，你们要知道有上帝在背后。
So before you talk about all these things, you need to know God is with us.
所以就先由耶和华是我的牧者，而这个牧者是怎么样的，都是我们在谈任何的事情，我们要知道背后是谁。
So the foundation is the Lord is my shepherd. So when we talk about other things, we know God is with us.
最后这个牧者是谁？
And lastly, who the shepherd is.
那我们从一个圣经的角度来看最后。
So let's talk about this from the Bible's view.
大卫知道，他作为牧羊人，他不是牧羊人，上帝是个牧羊人。
And David knows as a shepherd, he's not actually the shepherd because God is the real shepherd.
但是这个牧者是谁？
But who is the shepherd?
他也不敢多谈，他也不敢多谈，
He didn't talk about too much
因为耶和华就是我是我的上帝。
because Jehovah is my Lord.
但是到诗篇23篇不能以整个圣经都看。
However, the Psalm 23 cannot be separate with the rest of the Bible.
这个是圣经，圣经呢是不可拆开来解读，但是我们要整体来看待。
So the Bible cannot be dismantled, but must be viewed as a whole.
那就是说，这个指向这个牧者是要以新约来解读的旧约。
So that means we need to use the New Testament to explain the Old Testament.
那当时的旧约对这个牧者的认识还不完全，但是在新约给我们更完全的牧者就是耶稣基督。
Because in the Old Testament, people didn't have a full understanding of the shepherd. However, in the New Testament, we know the shepherd is God, Jesus Himself.
他就是什么样的牧羊人？
And He is such a shepherd.
有100个羊群，有100个羊。
He has 100 sheep.
如果一个没吃，
if one lost,
他会找，
and he will go to look for it.
他也会牺牲他生命给他的羊群的牧者。
And he will also sacrifice his own life for the sheep.
他同时是牧者，他是愿意成为羊。
And he is the shepherd, and he is also willing to be a sheep.
这个是耶稣基督，
This is Jesus
他
Christ.
就是在十字架为我们而死。
And he died on the cross for us.
各位弟兄姐妹，如果当时大卫的认识，
If according to David's understanding then,
如果大家看到就是22、23、24，
if you read the verses 22, 23, and 24,
大家看到一个模式。
and we can see a model.
22呢，就是大卫感觉很迷失，找不到方向。
And verse 22 is about to be lost.
然后他开始走路了，
And he started to walk.
那就是进入了23章。
Then into chapter 23,
他进入了死荫的幽谷，他进入了敌人面前，但是他找到上帝。
and he entered into the valley of the shadow of death, and he was surrounded by the enemies.
然后24章，他进入了耶路撒冷，然后他就开心来庆祝。
And chapter 24, he entered into Jerusalem, and he was overjoyed.
所以大家看到，从一个干旱之地、死荫的幽谷，进入耶路撒冷的整个路程。
So you can see the journey from the dry place through the valley of the shadow of death, and finally enter into Jerusalem.
因为耶路撒冷代表了上帝的同在，所以他们就赢了打仗，就回耶路撒冷庆祝。
Because Jerusalem represents the presence of God, so that's why they won the battle and went back to Jerusalem.
你生命可能也经历了这个阶段，
And your life might have experienced this kind of journey.
看看是否迷失，
Have you lost?
来在上帝回到他的怀抱里面，
So come back to God
然后大家会找到喜乐。
and pray and be rejoiced.
当你认识耶稣基督，
When you know Jesus Christ,
上帝会带领你从犹大干旱之地到新耶路撒冷。
and God will lead you from the Judea, the dry place, to the new Jerusalem.
而这个新的耶路撒冷，就是上帝预备给我们的永恒。
And the new Jerusalem is the eternal life God has prepared for us.
上帝在十字架为你我而死，
And God died on the cross for us.
信他的得到永恒。
And whoever who believes in Him will get eternal life.
如果永恒已经给你了，
If you already have eternity,
难道这个在世上的一件事情，上帝不能为你搞定吗？
so can't God do the normal things in this world for you?
各位弟兄姐妹，他是我们的牧者，耶稣就是我们的牧者。
And He is my shepherd. Jesus is our shepherd.
我们认识这位牧者吗？
And we know this shepherd.
我们是否要更加的认识他？
Do we want to know Him better?
我们是否要紧紧的跟随他？
Do we want to follow Him closely?
各位弟兄姐妹，大家回去好好读诗篇23篇。
So please read Psalm 23 carefully when you get home.
愿上帝带领大家到耶路撒冷。
And may God guide you to Jerusalem.